Do you ever wonder if the reason you feel stuck right now in life is because you never give yourself time alone? Just you and your thoughts. Hello Ramblers of the world, I'm Chris, the Mindset Wingman, and thank you for joining me on another Mindful Ramble video where we talk all about mindset reset and how it aligns to our journey through life and why it's so important to get that internal mess sorted out to allow us to achieve what we want in our journey through life, and especially those goals that we want to achieve to help us live the happiest, most fulfilling life we possibly can. And today, I'm out rambling, an absolutely stunning day, as you can see, blue skies everywhere. First time I've had one of them for a while. It's actually quite warm. I don't even know if I need this jacket on today. And as always, if you could subscribe, like, share and comment, I'd be incredibly grateful, as it does help me build this channel bigger and more beneficial for you. And every journey has a story. Let's go! And going back to the subject of today's video, the lost art of spending time alone or in silence. This day and age, I think a lot of people seem to, they fear it. It's like having a moment of silence is illegal nowadays. We seem to have a fear of being alone, and also with the overthinking that comes along with that. Whereas it's something we should be embracing and finding time for on a very regular basis. It's like me today. I'm out just now walking all on my own. There's a golf course just there. Apart from that, I don't see many people. It just gives me a chance to spend time on my own with my thoughts. And when it comes to, the ideas I've had for businesses, for the way I want to improve my life, for example, the best ideas have always come to me when I've been spending a bit of time in solitude on my own. It's not come when I've been sitting in a room full of other people. Now, I'm not saying do it all the time. That's not what I'm trying to say, because it's also very beneficial to be around people as well. We want to spend time with other people, especially if you're in business, you need to network. But also we need to speak to other people just to get their ideas, to talk about any issues we have. So I'm not saying all the time, but what I am saying is just finding time consistently when you can just be alone, a bit of solitude, however that looks for you. I remember going back many years now, I went across to India with a charity, and I worked in a Buddhist monastery where I was teaching maths and English. Now, some people that I went to school with might hear that I was teaching maths and probably fall off their chair, but yes, I was. It was quite basic, but I was across there. One of the things I learned across there was the importance of finding time on your own. So for example, the monks, I worked in a monastery, and the monks that I worked with, they'd come and see me and tell me there's no teaching on for the next 2 days because they're basically having days of prayer or meditation. So the next 2 whole days. Now when I talk about spending time on your own, what I've started to do is I've blocked out for 30 minutes every single week where I will take time out and spend time on my own. This is my time for thinking, for reflecting, and just getting to know the real me. That's what it's all about. When you spend time on social media or with other people, you don't always get that chance to identify the real you now. What is the real you now in this present moment, because you will change. So who you were last year might not be who you are this year, And you need that time just to reflect and find out who the real you is and what the real you wants to do going forward. And that's why it's so important. But yeah, going back to when I was working in the monastery in India, it was a real eye-opener when they were taking, 2 whole days out where they were just meditating and praying and just being alone with themselves. And you can see the effect it had on them. They are probably the most calmest people that I've ever spent any time with, compared to this country where we seem to be going at 1,000,000 miles an hour constantly. These guys certainly were not. They knew, they were still busy people, they had things on, but they knew how to do it in a very calm and very confident state of mind. And I always think that one of the reasons they manage to do that is because they give themselves time regularly just to be alone with themselves and their thoughts. Normally when I walk past this field just here, there's a couple of llamas, but they must be up. Probably sunbathing, enjoy the sun instead, because it's all shaded down here where they normally come down to. So they're not here, they normally are. But did you know llamas, interesting fact about llamas is they like to meditate. Banter, of course. How would I know that? I've not been able to speak to them. But truthfully, they like to hum, and that's how they communicate. They have different tones of humming when they're speaking or they're communicating with their breed, and that's how they do it. I never knew that, so it's just a wee fact there as I was passing the llama field there, which unfortunately was empty today because I wanted to show you it. Well, I think they're up on that hill up there. If we're always in the company of other people or continually scrolling through social media, we never get a chance to learn who we truly are. We never get to feel comfortable with ourselves. And the only way to do that is to find time where you can just spend it on your own and really dig deep into who the person you are is. Because if you're with other people all the time, you're going to get influenced by them, and basically you're going to end up borrowing their thinking. So any kind of actions you want to take, targets you want to achieve, problems or challenges you have in your life you want to deal with, you're always going to be influenced by other people when trying to deal with it. Whereas if you can spend time on your own, you can find the answers that you internally truly need. Not what other people think, not other people's opinions, not all that stuff that you see in social media. And that is where you will build real confidence and real self-belief. In these moments is when you will notice exactly what matters to you. You'll also notice what frustrates you and you need to remove from your life, and what you truly believe in, and not what you absorb online or when you're around other people. Now, I've mentioned before that I have a morning routine where I'll do my meditation. So every morning I give myself 10 minutes of meditation, and that is one of my times for being alone and being with myself. And the way I like to describe meditation is just think of a time where you can sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you want to do it, to be on your own and not have to worry about anything from the past and not have to worry about anything you've got to do later on today or that week. You can just be present in the moment. However, I knew I needed more than that, and this is the technique I wanted to share today, which I mentioned earlier, is this is probably better later on in the day. I like to do this later in the afternoon or early evening, and I like to block out 30 minutes, and I'm trying to do this about 4 times a week, building it in slowly, where I'll just sit in my bedroom in a dark room and just be on my own for 30 minutes. No music, no distractions, phone in a different room, get rid of it. It's just me and my thoughts, and that's that's what I do, and that's the way I've tried to implement finding more time to have that moment of being alone, of being solitude, because in this day and age, which I'm sure you're aware, is very difficult with the technology and the social media and the amount of things that we have to do in life where we have to spend time with people, our family or our careers, on Zoom calls, you know what I mean. We're so busy all the time, and that entails being around other people. You need to be really strict and block out, and I actually block out time. So what I do is I've actually blocked out time in my calendar 4 times a week for just 30 minutes of solitude, and I'm very, very strict myself, and I make sure that I do that, and it's been great. It's been really beneficial, and as I said before, that's where my best ideas come from. That's where, when I'm looking for answers for challenges in my life, that's where I find them. Not in a room full of people, not while I'm scrolling through social media. I find it when I'm on my own, just with my thoughts. So give it a try, and if you do, please comment and let me know if it works for you, and also what you noticed in those moments. It can be incredibly powerful. The results that I have got through doing this is I start to hear my own voice again. The confusion that I used to have is being replaced by clear thinking. I stop comparing myself to others, and I have much more confidence in myself. And there's less doubt as well. I now I know which direction I want to be going in, because I've given myself that time to have a good, proper, clear think on my own. Silence, fly up the nose, silence is not empty. It's actually very revealing. Just have a little think about that. Okay, that's everything from me today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and the message I want to get across is we shouldn't fear a bit of solitude, being alone. Now, not all the time, but you should block out time in your week, or even every day, just to find time where you can sit with no distractions, no other noise, just you and your thoughts. It's incredibly powerful what can come out in these moments. So give it a try, especially if you've been feeling a bit of an internal mess recently or a bit stuck. That can be one of the tools you can use to move away from feeling like that. So please give it a try and make it a habit in your life. And if you have enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, please like, please comment, and please share. I would be very grateful, as it helps me build this channel bigger and better as I continue my journey. And I'll see you all again next time. Onwards and upwards.